Growing field of Republican candidates for president, giving conservative millennials plenty of choices with more to come. So, what are these young voters actually looking for? Katherine Timpf is a reporter for National Review. Sal Lamastra, political author and commentator specializing in the youth vote, and both are my guests today. Great to see the both of you. So perfect timing because we have these three sort of Tea Party Republican candidates who've officially announced, well, Rubio will tonight. So I want to show you this poll first, Katherine, and get your comment. A Bloomberg poll. Here it is about Rand Paul and women. Would you consider Rand Paul for the Republican nomination for president? Among women, might 46%, never 32%, seriously would 11%. Is that a problem?
Yeah, it's a problem. I myself kind of like Rand Paul because my most important issues are overspending and government overreach. But I think he could make a little bit of an effort to reach out because if you look at millennials, half of millennials are independent. And if you have on one side actually specifically reaching out to women and saying, hey, I'm looking out for you, thinking of you, and then that could be a little attractive, especially to someone who doesn't know that much about the economic issues, which a lot of people don't really pay attention to who aren't involved with politics in their everyday lives.
What about the fact, though, about that low number of women that would consider him seriously?
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying, is I think he needs to make a little bit of an effort. Whether or not it's right or wrong of him with the way he talked to those reporters, now that that narrative is out there, he needs to try extra hard to make sure he does something to combat that, which I haven't seen from him yet.
I didn't know if you were talking about millennials in general or if you were breaking it down for gender. So, Sal, let me show you the tweet that Marco Rubio put out with, sort of a call out to Game of Thrones, popular show. So here's his tweet. A la Game of Thrones, Marco Rubio, big news is coming. Is he a good choice for millennials?
He is a good choice for millennials. I think that he is young. He talks about student loans a lot. He gets down on their level, and he can relate to them. I think any Republican, you look at jumping back to the question you asked Katherine, is they're all going to have trouble with women at this time because they have an R next to their name. But these candidates are young, they're fresh, just like Obama was in 2008, and they have the ability to set the tone, unlike other candidates we're looking at, such as Bush.
If we go back to Rand Paul for a moment, one of the big things I think is true with millennials, correct me if I'm wrong, is this whole privacy concern as well as social issues. So, Katherine, how does Rand Paul and the others, how do they stack up on those two things?
Well, with Rand Paul, he is focusing on issues that are important to young people, like decriminalization of marijuana, too. A lot of people see it as a social issue that are my age, or, excuse me, as a criminal justice issue. So that's important. He's focusing on privacy, and he's making an effort to reach out to us. And yes, social issues are across the Republican Party a huge problem for millennials because about 2/3 support gay marriage. And then you have someone like Ted Cruz who's speaking out about how much he's against it. So it's really something they need to be careful of if they want to get the millennial vote.
There's also something that I caught my eye. Rand Paul on his website, I believe it is, you can buy all these things to support him, but you can also buy now Hillary's hard drive in case you were looking for it. Is this kind of humor, is that going to get him, far along, Sal, with everyone, but younger people too who might relate to that a little bit more?
I do. I think keeping it light and doing things like that to relate to them, little jokes like that, like the SNL skits they do. I think Rand Paul probably has the best shot right now at reaching conservative millennials and independent millennials in general. Talking about the social issues when it comes to Republicans is, I don't think millennials are looking for them to be socially liberal. I think that Republicans can have the strong moral stance they do against certain issues that they're against, but they have to stick to their core belief in the Constitution and just keep the federal government out of it and leave those social issues to the state. And that could be a winning campaign strategy for Republicans.
Very interesting. All right. Getting the younger point of view here. Katherine and Sal, thanks much.